All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monty Nefaro, only seen here out of Indie Music TV on a somber day. We came in, and got the news about Del Wilkes passing. Del was in studio with Buff, and I got to tell you, really sad over the passing of Del Wilkes. He was a wonderful human being. I know a lot of people, or some people, didn't agree with his politics. But I got to tell you, in the short time we knew him, he was a special guy. Farrell?
As the show gets started, I hear that bell tolling. I'm tired of that bell tolling. There's something about this business. I don't think he made it to 60. For those of you who are not familiar with some of the things he did, one of the things that I thought was very cool about his resume was in 1991 he was voted Most Inspirational Wrestler of the Year by PWI. And I guess for my partner, this may be what it was like for me with New Jack, because I know my partner was a big fan of the Patriot. As far as his politics go, he came in educated. He came in and came across as a very intelligent man. His opinion was his, and he had every right to it. Good guy, from what I saw of him. I only got to meet him that one time. But again, it's Mike. It's too many times with the bell tolling. It's too many times. It's just it hurts. It definitely hurts. And when you're in the position that we are, to have the privilege of getting to talk to some of these guys, and you get to meet them, and they live up to your expectations, which I can say with confidence, Patriot lived up to your expectations. You were really looking forward to having him on,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
He was a class act. Rest in peace. And I'm just shell-shocked from it, basically, It's bad.
Prayers to his family, and
absolutely.
Thank you for the moments you've given us as a wrestling fan, and I want to thank him for the moments he gave us here in this studio. Had a lot of legends walk through here, bro, and
Yeah.
This one really hurt. For sure.
Yeah, we've been stung quite a bit lately.
By the way,
Too often.
speaking of legends, on the other line is future Hall of Famer Marty Jannetty. He's waiting. We got a few things to cover before we get to Marty.
Okay. Shoot.
Marty's been on the show a few times.
Yes, sir.
We consider him a friend of the show.
Yes,
Another
sir.
good human being. And we've got a little bit to talk about. I guess everybody's aware what the main subject of the conversation is going to be.
Okay.
First to discuss, Farrell, Bill Cosby released out of prison.
Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby took to social media to thank his supporters, as well as Pennsylvania's highest court, which had overturned his 2018 sexual harassment and assault conviction earlier in the day.
Wow.
I've never changed my stance nor my story, tweeted the 83-year-old actor and comedian. I've always maintained my innocence.
Okay.
Thank you to my fans, supporters, and friends who stood through this ordeal. Special thanks to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court for upholding the rule of law.
Interesting.
Thoughts?
Hey. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. I mean, I read into a little bit, and it sounded like they kind of like gave him... I know that when he was charged with all of this, it came during that really fever pitch of the Me Too movement thing going on, and it sounded like a little bit, from what I read, that he kind of got railroaded somewhat, so it's fine. I'm okay with it. Does this mean that he'll release the rest of those lost Fat Albert episodes? Boop, 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 boop. Remember that music? Boop, 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 boop. Hey. I'm making too much of a joke of this for you.
I would like to thank the band
How
that
you doing,
sings
folks?
the theme song for Monty Nefaro and Jimmy
thank
Farrell, along with his partner Bart Griggs, make up the band Wisteria Hall.
Yeah.
Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain.
Yeah.
You can find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page. Hit that like and subscribe button, people. We would really appreciate it.
Don't forget the theme song.
Go to Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, and Reverb Nation, where you can download the theme song of Monty and the Pharaoh, Riding High, which, by the way, we're working on having Becky Lynch use that as her theme
It
song,
would be better than that, whatever that thing is.
because she's still the man.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
If you didn't know it, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh. You can catch us on the Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube page, the Monty and Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Anchor. Catch us on the Monty and the Pharaoh Twitch TV page. And if that's not enough, if you're lucky to live in New York, you get to catch us a billion more times on Channel 115 every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 7:30.
Billion more times.
Early risers at 6 a.m. to 6:30 on Saturday.
I watched this episode a billion times.
And,
it was awesome.
and for the people that like to stay up late and party, Channel 20, 2 a.m. to 2:30. We'll be right back with our special guest, future Hall of Famer, super rocker, the better half of the Rockers, Marty Jannetty.
See you in a second.
Hi, it's John from Under the Table Hot Sauce. I'm here with my friend, the star of the show, Jimmy Farrow.
Yeah, what's up, JB?
Nah, nothing.
It's been a hot summer, and for all your barbecue needs, you can go to underthetablehotsauce.com. 13 unique flavors to choose from, created and bottled in a Long Island kitchen. Underthetablehotsauce.com. Let's go chow, JB.
Let's do it.
All the flavor, twice the burn. M&J Video Games and Collectibles. Sport and non-sport cards, wrestling items, autographed items. We buy, sell, and trade. M&J Video Games and Collectibles, located at 1049 Queen Street, Southington, Connecticut. Call us at 1-860-479-9223 or 860-93-GAMES. M&J Video Games and Collectibles.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh, only seen here and produced out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, New York. Marty Jannetty, how are you, sir?
In the house, my brothers.
In the house! So
Where
thoughts
are
on...
y'all? Are y'all in the same studio?
We're in the same studio that you were here a couple of months ago, like 6-7 months ago.
Oh, okay, the nice place. Okay.
The nice place, yeah, that's right. So,
not that the other one wasn't, but that was just like, it just was a real nice one.
yeah, the other one was kind of crappy. We could say it now. It's okay. Hey, so thoughts on Del Wilkes, Marty?
Very sad. I mean, he was really loved around here, where I'm from, Columbus, Georgia. Jerry Oates, the guy that trained me, had a good hand with him, too. Good guy, man. Super nice guy. Super nice. And I heard what y'all were saying about him. Yeah, and that's him. I mean, one of the best humans, educated, but he spoke what he felt. I like guys like that. Otherwise, I wouldn't like Terry Taylor. But you never got to guess where they're coming from. I'd like to be that way myself, but I have to sugarcoat it a little bit. That kind of sucks.
Marty, what does it do to you when you hear about these things over and over and over again in this business? I mean, he didn't even make 60. What goes through your mind?
I think he was 50-something. Well, New Jack was a real shocker to me. Him and I were pretty good boys, and that's one. He was, in my mind, was like one of those you consider indestructible.
Right.
And just, I got that call. Gosh damn. We do that. I work with Dan up there in Boston, which I guess we'll talk about that in a little bit, with Boston Wrestling. And you have that show, on YouTube, Boston Wrestling. And New Jack had just come in 6 days before he died, and he did great. I knew he would. I told Dan he's good, man. I mean, he's good for ratings. He's good. And it went well because Dan was wanting to put him on But I guess a certain day, I don't know if Tony Atlas and Dan are still on the outs or what, but he needed to fill that slot, and I think he was going to let New Jack carry it, and then we got that call, you know.
Did you cross paths with New Jack by any chance when he was up there?
No, I didn't get to see him, but they called me. They called me a while on set, you know, on the show, and unfortunately, I didn't get the answer, but they left it on my voicemail. It's hilarious.
Right,
You know?
and I agree with you too. By the way, he did seem indestructible. It's still really bothering me that he passed on.
And as your questions like, what does it feel like? And Daryl being a little bit closer, because being like we feel like he's a homeboy, you know, from down here.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, you know, it's just started picking up again, where there's one every 2 or 3 months. You know, we've had what? Three in the last 4 months or something like that.
Yep.
And when that starts happening, I only can imagine. I don't want to compare, you know, to the military, but you know, from what my brother has told me, when the guys, all your friends that you're fighting with, don't make it back home, you sometimes have guilt feelings of, well, why did I, you know, make it back? You know, why me? And it's sort of, you get that feeling when you're losing some of the good ones, even the ones you lose. I ain't got any bad ones, but some of the guys didn't really care about some. You start wondering, I've got to be in line. You know, it's when's mine. I've often said it. If you remember, about a few years ago, it was a rash of them. It was one after another for like, it was like 70 in a 10-year period. And you know, when the phone rang in the middle of the night and the call started, did you hear what happened? You almost wanted to not hear what name, because you knew what it meant. You know what I mean? And it got to a point, it was so common, you don't desensitize to it. Every single one of them hurts. But you pick a inner circle that you hope it ain't them when you get that call. You know, and you cringe, and it's not a relief, but it kind of is like, at least it wasn't. You know, I got about 4 or 5 guys that I'd never want to get that call on. Unfortunately, you know, I did get it on one. But you know, we just don't understand it. I mean, we know we had a rough life. We got, you know, there for a while there was 300 days, 320 shows a year for year after year after year after year. The guys were doing so much to keep going. You know, and then there was the bodies, you know, they had to keep their bodies looking right. So I keep thinking that more the guys that were burning the candle at both ends, meaning they might have been doing steroids along with the recreational drugs to keep going. You know, there was a lot of cocaine use to keep you going. I mean, and the worst part about it is at night when you lay down, you're all geeked up and you got to take a downer, you know, and then the routine's over and over and over, which is really why a lot of people was questioning Vince. Did he feel guilty for running the guys in the ground like that? And, you know, I don't know how Vince must really feel. He's not, you know, he can't say on camera. He might open up lawsuits or some shit.
Right.
But,
Marty, you said something interesting before. What makes you feel guilty when they pass? Is it because you feel like, you know, because, listen, I know you burn the pedal hard. You live fast sometimes. Do you feel badly because you say, well, what am I still doing hanging around? Or do you feel badly because, you know, you wish you might have gotten a chance to talk to them, like when you almost crossed paths with New Jack recently in Boston? I mean, what makes you feel guilty?
I would say because, hell, I was right there with them all. We were all doing the same kind of life.
Right.
You know, why did he go? Like Kurt Hennig, that one hurt me bad. Road Warrior Hawk hurt me bad. And we were all tight, man. We all were, you know, comrades of, you know, the party life with the work ethic. I mean, worked hard, you know, and I mean, the only thing I didn't dabble around with was steroids because it wasn't going to do me no good. I was too little anyway. I wasn't going to any chance to get growing old faster just to gain 10 pounds.
Right.
I'd still only be 230 and everybody's 290.
Right.
But,
You could have been the ultimate Jannetty. What happened?
The
Yeah, right.
ultimate Jannetty.
Yeah,
Look
that
out.
would have been pretty interesting. My partner is more the expert on the documentaries, Marty. Not to shift gears, but let's shift gears.
Okay.
Did you see the Shawn Michaels documentary by any chance? What's your take on the Shawn Michaels
But
documentary?
documentary or a biography?
Mikey, which
same
one you
thing.
want to go after?
We'll call it biography.
Yeah, I was on a big part of the first hour of it, which is so funny that you brought that up because I was going to mention that when we get into something else here.
Okay.
That it was a good experience. But they flew a camera crew down here to me basically, and interviewed, and it was about a 2.5, 3 hour interview. Very pleasant one. As always, anything would involve in WWE, it was a class act, and you had all the pros there in place, and the producer and director himself, man, I guess he enjoyed it, and then he wanted to work more with me. So who knows what's in the future? But what I was going to say out of that is I had so many compliments out of my part, in the biography. Even though I felt horrible when it showed because I didn't realize that I'd already had, the time they called me, I was already like 8 weeks into my first ankle surgery on the left ankle.
Okay.
And so I ain't been doing nothing but laying up with a leg in the air. No kind of workout whatsoever. You're just eat and lay there, watch TV and try to sleep.
Usually you got a leg over your shoulder instead of a leg up in the air. I'm sorry, go on.
Or somebody's shoulder.
That's what I'm getting at there. There you go.
Yeah, man, and I had a tooth that got knocked out from a wrestling practice seminar, working with some kids.
Okay.
And the pandemic was in full blown lockdown, and I couldn't get to a dentist. My hair, which just still ain't worth a shit. I couldn't get nothing. It looked like a damn scarecrow out there. And it was all visually, I thought it was horrible, but I guess, it came off all right verbally. And what was crazy is everybody liked it so much. It was a good showing. And I guess I got about 100 requests for podcasts after that.
There you go.
And then the shit blew up with Dan up there in the Hell. It was a watch along for Hell in the Cell, but we ended up renaming it Hell in the Studio.
So let's back up a little bit, Marty.
Then that. Wait, let me finish this. And then that happened. I got 100 for inquiries for the good stuff. And then the bad stuff blew up, and I got 1,000.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that weird how that works there, bro?
So
I guess a train wreck is always better than a box of fluffy doves.
Well, that's interesting because, again, I think in this world we're a little bit different, right? We consider ourselves a broadcast, not a podcast. Yeah. But I would say that many of the shows are all friends in commerce, but we hear things that go on, and
right.
Tony Atlas, who contacted me after he was on Dan's show and wanted to speak to me about some things that went down with Dan and him, and actually asked me for advice on it, which I did. Tony decided to part ways with Dan. Again, some people believe Tony, some don't. With you, can you tell us what happened at the start of that Boston wrestling thing and what led to whatever happened? Because, again, I asked Dan for the video, but he wouldn't give it to me. Can you tell us what happened?
I'll give you the whole weekend. I'll just explain to you that it's going to take about 5-10 minutes.
That's fine.
Go.
When's our next break? 5 minutes?
Yeah, about 5 or 8 minutes. Go ahead.
All right, I'll try to get to a good part by then. We go in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we do 5 episodes Friday, Saturday, so 5 a day. Come in usually the night before, pretty much always the night before, and leave, that Monday morning. That's been our routine for about a year.
Okay.
And it's, loved it. The second surgery I had now 2 times ago, which would have been, I don't know, about 10, 12 weeks ago, came in and did great. It was the left leg surgery was just about healed up. Everything was good. And got through most of that pretty good. Then this past time when I come in, I had just had the right ankle about 2 months prior, surgery on it, a joint replacement. Anyway, so I'm just getting past it, all the pain and stuff.
Right.
And thinking and, feeling pretty good because there's my doctor who's one of the best in the world, Dr. McCluskey, Leland McCluskey here in Columbus, Georgia. He's like, you're so far ahead of schedule. It's unbelievable. He said, I knew you would rehab it fast, but I've never seen one heal this fast. But we were very positive on it. And I was looking forward to start training hard, get myself back in shape. Don't know about if I was going to get in the ring or not, but at least I could, do some good things. And Thursday night kind of set a tone a little bit. And what I mean by that is I got in late. Dan did good. He got me to the latest flight he could because, I don't want to spend a whole day not working. But I got in there. I don't know how he did it. He got me in the one that got in at 1 o'clock at night, up there in Boston. And I'd already had 7 hours of traveling by then. Because I have to drive a couple hours to get to a shuttle service in Columbus, Georgia, to go 2 more hours. No, I'm sorry, an hour to get to it. To go 2 more hours to Atlanta Airport, which got to be there an hour and a half early. Then a 2.5 hour flight up to Boston. I had 7 hours of transit already.
Okay.
By the time I got there.
Okay.
At 1 in the morning. And, Dan is, for the whole year that I've been working with him, he's always there to pick me up with somebody. Wasn't there, but he called me and he goes, go to, there was a hotel would be there with a shuttle service, which was fine with me. And he told me where it was at over by the limos. Now I got this boot still on my right leg, the one that's still, it ain't 100% yet. And there's a little bit of a walk, and I got there and I waited and looked around and waited and looked around and waited. Finally, I called him back. I said, bro, there ain't nothing here. And he goes, are you in the right place? I said, I'm right where you told me. And so I wouldn't ask one of the limo guys. There was one guy there. Now it's like 1:30, almost 2 in the morning. One limo guy there, and he goes, yeah, right here's for the hotel. I called him back, said I'm in the right place. He called again, and then he called me. He said, call this number. This is the hotel. They'll tell them what's going on. I called them, and they said, shuttle's not there because we stop at 11 p.m. We
Ooh.
told your guy that.
Ooh.
So, this is a hell of a time, and to be going through all this at the airport and somewhere in Boston. I called Dan back, and he said, F it, I'll get you an Uber. And he says, find where the Ubers. And I did. I went up to the limo guy, said, where are the Ubers? He pointed, you got to go over there. And it was like a damn quarter-mile walk. And I'm like, nah, hell no. I got one crutch and one boot on. I ain't walking that damn far. You can't even see how far I had to walk.
Understood.
So then, I saw a taxi stand, and I called, and then I actually hoped, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I was hoping the Uber might, look for me. I waited, because Dan had said too, I think he told me it would be like, they'd be there in 8 to 10 minutes. And I didn't want to walk off and get lost. But so when I called him back, I said, look, man, I'm going to get a taxi. To hell with this. Now it's 2:30 in the morning, 2:15 in the morning. I was just want to get to the damn room.
Sure. So you're off to a really, really rocky start here.
Oh my God! And then I went over to the taxi stand. Dan called back to the hotel, called me and said they said go ahead with the taxi. They'll pay for it because evidently he had set something up. They must have screwed it up. Whatever happened, I'm out there aggravated as shit, and it's just Thursday night, right? And the taxi stand, the dude said he sat there. And he called a cab and waiting. I'm like, man, why haven't heard a bunch of cabs? He goes, well, I think he was Dominican or something. It was hard to understand his accent. Not too many cabs at 2:45.
What was the Iron Sheik driving it?
Yeah, that was a little cheeky. That's a little bit cheeky. Did you smell any marijuana coming out of that cab? Anyway.
Yeah. Well, finally a taxi showed up. I get in, and now he was Cuban or something. Now I'm trying to get another accent. I'm trying to figure it out. And I told him where to go, and he looks at me like, never heard of. I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Boy.
I said, look, bro, Just get me to the hotel. I'll make sure you get a big tip. Don't drop me all. I think they go by zones now anyway. They ain't supposed to do that shit where they drive you all around.
Did you get to the hotel before the sun came up?
I got to the hotel. It was 3:00.
Right.
I mean, went in and checked in and went up to the 4th floor, went to my room. After all that, the damn electronic key did not work on the door. They had no phone in the thing.
Oh my God.
I could have just called my phone, but I was so aggravated. I went storming back downstairs, told the guy. He came up with another key that didn't work. So he opened it. He opened it with a master key. And he says, they'll fix it in the morning sometime. They don't know when. I said, so I'm going to the gym in the morning and then to eat. I said, I can't get back in the room. He just laughed. He said, we'll get you in. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I did get in, and I called, to Dan's credit, he didn't go to sleep until he heard I was okay.
Okay.
And it was like 3:15 in the morning. Now, I got my pain pills were towards the end, and I can't get a refill anytime soon. So I'm not wanting to take them unless I absolutely got to, because I'm trying to stretch them through that weekend. And I lay down, man. After y'all know this feeling when you've done so much in a day, you lay down and you're so tired you can't sleep. It was one of those, and then the pain started a little bit. The pain wasn't. I guess the frustration comes out as pain.
Sure.
And I'm like, so sitting there fighting it with me. All right, should I take one? Should I take 2 pills? But anyway, I took them, and I managed to get to sleep. And I got up early and worked out and had a good breakfast and got over to the studio, and everything went fine. Friday, we blazed right through, did great. So it was all good. I never even mentioned it to Dan that I thought that was a little bit, it was okay. It smoothed over. Although that seed is buried in there somewhere, right?
Sure.
The seed is still in your soul. Like,
sure,
why didn't you make sure I got there, man?
Right.
Shit.
So you were trying to write it off as shit happens, and let's go do what we got to do. I got you.
Yes, let's get our shit done, and we did, man. Friday was beautiful. It was so good, man. That, after the first day, we went to a nice Chinese restaurant. Had a great time there. I wish I could think of the name of it. It caters to the boys. It's got hundreds of the boys' pictures autographed on the walls, and it's a nice ass place. Hoolan's. I ain't gonna try it, but anyway, that was Friday night. And like I said, again, I was so lucky. There was a nice gym right there at the hotel, and I had not worked out in a gym since the first surgery, 7 months, so 6.5 months. So I was so happy to get in, do my little rehab stuff, and then do some weight workout. And then second day, again, a good ass workout. Got my meal, got back over to the studio, and you can see for the people that might be crossovers for each, and they watch Boston Wrestling on the YouTube, you'll see in about it was the third hour episode that we were doing for Saturday. We were breezing. So that would be 5, 6, 7 on week 8. You'll see. You can see a change because I'm always like happy and bubbly and love doing our things. That third hour, I started getting quiet because I started getting pain in my ankles or whatever. I may have pushed the workouts. That's the only thing I figure. I pushed them maybe a little too hard, which is something my doctor was concerned I would do. He said, because we know each other. We played football together, and he knows my work ethic with sports from high school and college.
Okay.
So he's like, I know how hard you're going to do. Don't overdo it. And there's a possibility I did. But everything was fine as far as, Dan and I are fine. That mid-third hour, I started having the pains, and it was I didn't want to, we're filming, right? I don't want to, but I'm reaching down. Y'all will see, like I said, I'm reaching down and, massaging the ankles. I'm realizing, but don't, make it obvious. And then we got halfway through that third hour, and they burn. They feel like they're in a furnace, burning. And again, I didn't want to touch the pain pills yet because I want to make sure I can get through that whole weekend. And Dan was talking about it. We always reviewed, and we were in the 90s, and some of the guys, what did I think of this, whatever, and he's talking away, and I'm sitting there like, don't make a face, don't, because pain was showing my face a lot, and I'm thinking about how's it looking, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't know what he's talking about. Oh man, I hope he don't ask me a question.
You got that absorbed in your own pain. I got you. Go on.
Yeah, and so I look over at him. He looks at me, and I thought, oh shit, don't ask Dan, don't ask a question. But he goes, are you okay? And so it must have already started showing on my face. I'm like, and I didn't want to say much, but I'm like, yeah, I'm struggling a little bit, just a little bit, trying to play it off like it ain't bad. But it was hard to get through that last 20, 30 minutes. And when we got through with it, that was our third hour, right? I told him, I said, man, look, I got a blanked on you. I'm so glad you didn't ask me a question right then. I said, if it's going to happen again, I'm going to do the Iron Sheik. I'll chop my chest. That's letting you know I'm starting to blank. Don't ask me something right then. And, he's like, okay. And we got into the fourth hour, and sure enough, it started happening. I'm like, fuck, I caught myself on him. And he's looking at me like weird. And I'm like, he goes, what are you doing? And I guess he totally, he was so absorbed in getting our material done. And I said, remember what I told you this is going to mean? And he said, oh, I forgot. And we got through the fourth hour. All right, so I figured we can get through one more. I did not want that to happen again. I went over to my little bag and got a couple pills. And in the studio there, they have beer in the fridge all the time. Okay. So I went and had a beer with it. Because that way I don't have to take too many. Because I've got such a high tolerance to pain medicine. Right. And or anything really. Right. And one beer would keep me from having to take 3 or 4 pain pills. Y'all have seen me when I take too much. That very first time we ever met.
Sure.
Yeah, time you punched me in the face.
Not the first time. He punched you in the face the second time.
That wasn't
the second time we met, he punched you in the face.
Oh, I'm sorry. I stand corrected. I apologize, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, way to go. All right. Let's get back on track here before I start thinking about that stuff. Go on. Where are we?
So, I knew it wouldn't. That two pills of the strength I've got.
Right.
Because my doctor he goes by the book, and he knows me a high tolerance. But he still sticks by his book. He's a good Christian man, but he's also just a very good doctor.
Right.
He doesn't want to chance any kind of bad stuff.
Marty, I'm relieved to hear that he's a friend of yours going all the way back to the football days. That makes me feel good. I'm glad that it's somebody that you can truly trust.
He's one of the best in the world.
Good.
He's one of the best in the world. He actually studied under Dr. Andrews, which people come here to, from all over the country.
Sure.
He goes to Africa a couple times a year, does free work. I mean, he's a great guy.
Were you able to get through the 5th episode? We're at episode 10? 10, I think, now at this point?
What?
You said you did blocks of 5, so this would put you at on your 10th episode. I'm keeping track of the math for you, too.
Oh, okay.
I love you.
Yeah, so we're into 5. We're getting ready to do 5.
Right.
It took enough of the edge off, but it didn't take it all. I knew it wouldn't, but that's fine. I just wanted to get some off.
Okay.
And the reason I'm telling all this shit, it'll make sense in a minute.
Sure.
So we got through 5, and I was like, now there's a break, because we were doing the virtual signing live later. Okay. And it'll give me a 2-3 hour break to just relax and stay at the studio, but go lay somewhere and just relax and hope that everything passes. He was like our studio guy in charge, in the room, hollering something. I'm looking at him like, what are you talking about? He goes, let's keep going. I said, do you know what number this is? Because I knew exactly what number. And he goes, well, I don't keep up with it. I'm thinking, well, I do. that's how we judge what we pay. And I thought, well, he knows I'm hurting. Why would he push it today? Because I figured, okay, maybe we're just going to do 4 tomorrow. But I was just thinking that's kind of shitty a little bit, because I'm hurting.
Right.
But we did it, got through it, but then it didn't leave us much time before the live. So no rest in between. Went right in and did that. And, usually on them live virtual signings, as was the case Friday night when we did them, I cut up with the fans. I love to. And I mean, I don't even care what kind of crazy questions I got. I'll take them.
Sure.
If we have fun with it,
Yeah.
And couldn't do it that night. I mean, it was hurting that bad, and I hated, like, not cutting up with them and just probably looking like I was bored. I wasn't bored at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't feeling good.
Right.
And it had not, I'm pretty sure it was those workouts in the gym, because it had not been hurting me like that for a while.
Well, Marty, I don't think it helped you to have to walk in the airport either. I don't think that.
That first night. I mean, I'm sure it didn't.
No, I don't
like
think it did.
What it is little bitty things that accumulated. I'm not saying Danny did anything wrong. He's very aware of my pain, because he's got a bad pain too, and he's got whatever it's CDRS or some kind of thing that from the car wreck with the Sheik. He's one of his legs is real bad. He has to take a lot of medicine, and his pains. He told me the other day, he was telling me how it'll get so bad. He was having one of his days a few days ago. It's so bad, he goes, that he's glad he doesn't have a gun with him, because it hurts that bad. And I clicked with him on that, because I know that feeling, bro. As I thought that same ass thing, like, fuck this. I can't get any, and I couldn't get the liquor will always kick it, for a little bit.
Marty.
But you got to be careful, because with me, too much of it brings out an evil MJ.
So listen, Marty, here's the question for you. So everything seems very, like, the whole story seems docile. Of course, I wasn't watching, right? People were writing me after the fact. Here's my issue, and I want to understand something. It seems like you and Dan are on better terms. But
we're great, man.
But here lies the problem. After this whole situation goes on, he goes on Sunday to talk about your multitude of problems and that you need
Sunday
help.
It was.
I think it was a week after, or a couple.
Yeah,
of the people could tell us.
Review.
Again, if you're working with someone and you have a falling out or whatever else, I'm assuming it wasn't a work.
Well, I'll pull it all together if I can try to do it like in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Saturday night, I even kept telling them this. I mean, we were doing 8x10s, signings, so wasn't going good anyway. And, we got to do the same thing tomorrow night in Hell in a Cell. Just do it then. I'm like, wrap it up. And he says like 3 different times, okay, last chance. We're about to wrap it up. Shit. I'm like, we tell them that. Let's go. But finally it was over. It was good. We got done. And oh my God, was I so relieved. And we were fine. Me and him were fine. No. But you got to remember that seed is in there. Why is he working me this hard knowing I'm hurting? And then that seed from the first night walking around 2 hours, and those little bitty seeds are in there, but there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing he directly did wrong for me to be upset at him. Saturday night now, I'm going to go into the hotel, and I'm thinking the same routine. Yeah, I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to get to the gym. And I got this referee that works for him with Boston Wrestling. I'm not going to say his name. He might not want to be involved in this, but he'll give us a ride back. But Dan can't drive either because of his leg. And so I said, please stop by this store here. And got a little, y'all know what a half pint of, it's tiny. It's like probably 4 of those little airplane bottles.
Oh, the Pharaoh knows what a half pint is. Go on.
So it's not much, in other words. But I figured, a couple shots of that, I won't have to do anything with my pills, and I can go to sleep.
Okay.
When we get back to the hotel. And we go in, and the game is on. I think the one where Brooklyn lost to Milwaukee. It was a good game. We sat there in the lounge for a minute with a bunch of people cheering, and I was cheering for Brooklyn. Sorry about that, y'all. But he wanted me to watch. He'd wrestled before he started refereeing. He wanted me to watch a match and critique it for him. He said it's not long, 7 minutes. So we went up to the room. Here's where the emotional shit starts. That caused a lot of Sunday. We go up there, and he's a good kid, man, great guy. And, watch his 7-minute match. It was supposed to be like his first match. And, that's what I do now, coach kids and train them. I love that more than anything. And I was thinking, maybe he meant his first TV match because it was good. There was a couple little mistakes, and once I watched his match, I told him, and the main thing was the lockup. I wanted him to understand that the lockup is the most important move of the match because it starts it off. And, when you lock up, for example, when you lock up real weak, well, you just set the tone to the fans that like, well, okay, with laxy daisy. But when you wham and snap into it, like, okay, got my attention. And that's what I was trying to show him. So I had him, I said, lock up with me. Because I like to train hands-on. And we went to snap in lock so he could see what it's supposed to be like. And the foot, my left foot, which I'd already moved the boot over, the left one's still messing with me. And that's the one you stomp down on when you snap in. Oh my God, I almost shot through the roof. And I didn't want to be embarrassed in front of him, but I couldn't help it. I was gritting. And he's like, oh man, he goes, don't, you don't have to do nothing. You don't have to do nothing. And then there was actually more I could have told him, but he's like, well, I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm not going to bother you because obviously in pain. And when he left the room, man, the emotions, because that's my thing now is teaching the kids. Mm-hmm. And I thought, man, I can never teach him again. I couldn't just do a lockup. And I got a bit emotional. And I thought of something though about he had his hands way up high. And I called him, even he'll tell you this, attest to this. That like 10 minutes after he left, I called him. The reason you don't have your hands up high is because we're working a shoot. If you have your hands up here, why wouldn't somebody double leg you? Keep them right in mid. That's what I was really trying to show him when he locked up. But he was all, appreciative and thank you. And, call her, see you, stay in touch. But after I hung up with him, actually, that's when I got a couple of tears because I felt like, man, I'm not even no good as a coach no more. It took a phone call for me to tell the kid what I would have told him immediately before. And it just got me down, brother. And what I have left out about all of this, I was already emotionally distraught because my brother, who was my hero, wasn't doing good. Still is. He's resting. He's okay. But I had that on my mind all weekend. And so I think it all just took over at once that night, Saturday night. And I called a couple of friends I needed to talk to people. A couple of my girls and even my sister talked to her because she's like, what happened? You were fine when you talked to me. You were just down about something. And I called her after that. It didn't work. And I called a girl that I know from Boston, told her I needed company. I didn't need to be alone. And she showed up 20, 30 minutes later. And again, remember now the intent was to get up in the morning and go to the gym. That was my main thing. So to rehab, the shit and get a workout. She got to the door and opened the door and seen her. Just, not some people will understand, but I remember seeing her there with a bag, like overnight. I figured overnight bag. I don't know what else she might have had in it. And, I smiled to see her, but it must have shown on my face because she's, are you okay? And I was like, no. And she hugged me, and it felt so good. It was not meaning sexual or nothing like that. It just felt like she was really hugging out of compassion. And pretty much the next memory I got is going to the studio Sunday and Dan not letting me in. And I couldn't understand it. Now, remember, this is my memory. It's not what actually happened according to Dan, and I believe him. But when I got there, he had, I couldn't even tell you if the girl stayed over or not. I mean, I called her and found out later, but I had no idea. I just knew that he had a guy pick me up that I was getting out of the car with. I kept calling him Eric Clapton. Because you know that song where Eric sings, would you know my name?
Sure.
If you saw me in heaven. Mm-hmm. It was how his hair was. All this guy's hair was exactly like that. So I kept calling him Eric Clapton. He's a great guy too. Love him to death. I got out of the car, went up to the studio, see through doors, and there's Dan, and he won't let me in. And I didn't understand it. What the hell? And I'm like, Dan, what are you doing? Because we got work to do, right? I'm telling you, this is me, and I was confused as hell. And I don't remember if he told Eric Clapton to drive me around for a while, or called him and told him. But he just wouldn't let us in. He cracked the door a little bit, and I wanted to get in. He said, no, go right around for a little bit or something. I was confused as fuck. I was like, what the hell? And we got in the car and rode around for a bit, and I'm talking to this guy, and I couldn't even cut up with him too much because I'm like thinking, what's going on here? And it crossed my mind at that time, okay, wait a minute. He gave me half my money up front the first day, and he's going to give me the second half after we were done. I'm thinking, is he trying to get out of paying me the second half? That was what was going through my mind.
Okay.
And boy, it started. Then everything. Now all them seeds before. Okay, that Thursday night was shit. He didn't even care to pick me up, But Friday went well. And Saturday he wanted to overwork me while I was hurt. My mind starts perpetuating and getting worse. On man, what the fuck? It was going to a bad place. I don't know how long. We went back to the studio, and I guess we did a couple episodes, which Dan, and I'm going to believe Dan because I'm telling y'all that I don't remember what happened with that girl so I've got that big blank. So something obviously was off with me. Dan would have a better, recollection of how things actually happened. And in hearing him, in that review you were talking about,
yeah,
he had said, Marty showed up and he was just so out of it. I don't know what the hell he did Saturday night, but he couldn't do nothing but make everybody mad in the studio, and had somebody get him out. So I don't actually know because I remember Eric Clapton picking me up from me riding from the hotel. So I don't know if he sent me back to the hotel to sober up, if that's what he was saying. He'll go sober up. And then that was the second time we came to the studio, and I just don't remember none of that whole first. But anyway, that caused me to be in that place where this is bullshit. And I figured, you know what, we got the live show tonight, and I can't really be that mean. I love Dan to death, and I knew I couldn't be mean to him, but I needed to be if I was getting ripped off. And
understood.
I right before the Hell in the Cell, I still had. Remember, I bought that half pint, and I had half of that left. So it's nothing but a couple of shots. But I had taken that, took a couple of pain pills, and thought, now I'm gonna cut loose on the live because he can't edit shit out when I ask him questions. And for those that saw it, it was a disaster. And I was ugly to Dan. I shouldn't have been. I kept telling him he didn't going to pay me. He's never shorted me. He's never even come close to it. He's never shorted anybody in like 19 years. But that's just where my head had gone with all that shit that I'd gone through. And, I'm sure that he kind of bothered him being called, just basically saying, are you a thief, on live TV. At one point, I think he flipped the money over to me. And I'm like, all right, so what? And what about this and what about that? I think I started bringing up them little damn things, needling them on it. And he was needling me back and getting back because he didn't appreciate the money thing. One time I said, well, where's my damn money then? It was still laying there. He'd already gave it to me. But, yeah, that was a bad thing. And I just contributed to, I had a bad day at the office. And I still don't understand what happened from that Saturday night. I asked that girl, I'm not going to say her name. A lot of people might know her. She had a pill that she gave me the night before. She said hers was for a nerve pain. She said, it'll help you. You won't have to. She said, I gave you one of those. That was it. And I guess she said she had a shot, a Jack Daniels shot or something. And she goes, but that doesn't bother you because she knows, my partying ways too. That didn't bother you, but she goes, you kept just mumbling. You called me 3 different girls. She said, you called me Kara one time. You called me a Tania one time. She was telling me these names I was calling her. So I guess I was out of it. And Marty,
Marty, despite the fact that your memory of the actual Sunday was hazy, you have to at least be disappointed that working with this guy for quite a while, how did he not sense that your pain threshold was going to go into overdrive? Why did he keep pushing you?
Okay, now that I've told y'all everything, came straight with everything the whole world knows now. I'll answer that, but you got to answer me one thing first. And I've been real, so be real with me.
Sure.
All right.
And I understand, so it doesn't matter what the answer, but just be honest with me.
Mm-hmm.
Why would y'all want to show a hit piece on me? You heard how bad it was. Why, y'all are my boys. I thought I was y'all.
No. I wasn't going to show a hit piece. I wanted to see the video. I asked him to see the video. I wasn't going to show you on there. That wasn't. I wanted to know what happened. Listen, you've been a friend of the show. You're a good guy. And I wasn't watching the show. People had told me what happened. I tried to go back on to see what happened. I wanted to see if you were okay.
Curious.
And you know what? So we're being 100% honest with you. I wasn't going to go put this on the show. I wanted to see what happened. And then I was even more disturbed that he went to social media and basically said that you've got major problems. And I didn't think that was right to do either. And again,
but he didn't know the extent, because I didn't even mention Friday or Thursday night to him how that bothered me. I never told him, so he didn't even know that was there. I'm pretty sure I didn't tell him how it kind of disappointed me a little bit that he pushed on extra after seeing he knows pain. That's why we relate so good, because he knows pain. He has the same shit.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but that was in there, and I never told him. I don't think I ever said, "Hey, Dan, this is bullshit." Now, come on.
Right.
Listen,
I never said that. I just kept it inside.
Listen, Marty, here's the deal. Whether you believe it, whether you don't believe it, right? You are a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You're Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
You're an icon.
If nothing else,
Hold on.
if nothing else,
Hold on.
for the guys that have trained.
I need you to listen to me on this.
Okay, go ahead.
You come on these shows, you make certain people a good amount of money. There's a lot of fans that love and enjoy watching you.
Yeah.
They give donations. They subscribe, right? I understand you could have a falling out with a promoter or an agent, or we even could say Dan is your friend. That's fine. I just don't understand the fact that if something goes wrong on your show, which, it happens, okay? Look, my friend, a lot of people think it's a work between you and me, and you could tell them it's a work or tell them it's not a work. I'd really like you to clear that up too, is that we've had our issues with each other. The fact of the matter is...
I remember the first time I came in, I actually had a great time with y'all, but evidently I was spaced out.
That makes one of you.
Remember, Butcher, what's his name? Blackwell was there. And man, I had a great time with him. That girl that, the lady that does the radio show, is it Teresa or something?
Yeah, correct.
And everybody came there.
Mm-hmm.
And,
everybody came to see Marty Jannetty, the legend, right?
And I had such a great time while I was there. I didn't realize I was the only one having a great time.
No, bro, we all had a great time. It was a really pressured day. It was, but I don't really want to get into it. My only point is this.
No. Also, I was going to say that was in the next episode I saw. Brother Man was talking about, man, he came in here and he just disappointed me, and there was a kid here and I couldn't. I'm like, well, gosh, damn, why didn't you tell me that?
You should have seen it, Marty.
Rather than say it on air.
You should have been there.
No, that's true.
You missed the great
If you were there, you would have known.
It was party with Marty. It was great. But
all I'm saying is this: I'm glad you and Dan made up.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Boston wrestling I'm sure the Boston wrestling fans are happy you're going to be back on that show.
Hey, by the way, let me tell you, both of y'all this. I don't know if y'all get to though, but our show, which it has for a year now, airs right now, coming on at 10 o'clock to 11. And the chat room, I'm going to go in there. I'd love for y'all to go in and your viewers, because I'm sure they're watching this. And so it's going to be a lot going on.
Listen, let me tell you something. When you're on that network, you're very popular. But all I'm saying to you, Marty, and I'm saying to the fans out there, right, is that if Dan has a problem with Tony Atlas or has a problem with you, you're both legends. You make him a lot of money. Have the respect to make a phone call privately and say, hey, Marty, you did me dirty. I just want to make that clear. I was unhappy with what you did. And you talk it out like men.
I could agree with that. But at the same time, I feel bad that I put Dan in those situations. Dan's been good to me. He's never been mean or ugly to me. I mistook a couple of his ways, something sort of like what you're saying. Me and him already have.
Let me ask you something, Marty. Have you been good to been good to Dan? Have you been good to Dan?
Well, it's what did I do to him Sunday. He had to fix all that.
You've also made him a good amount of money, my friend. Okay, you've been good to him. Look, some things get forgiven here. And again, I'm not attacking Dan. I don't even know Dan. All I'm saying,
y'all would love each other. Y'all should work together. Remember how it was with Dan the Pizza Man, and y'all had that fallout.
I don't like Dan the Pizza Man.
I'm gonna wait till this conversation's over.
I tried to mediate that, and I pieced that over.
Yes, you did, sir. Yes, you did.
I don't know if anything good ever became of it, if it's still good, but I think you guys and Dan, could do some good business together.
I
always tell my people in the independent wrestling world, when there's one independent show and maybe 20 miles or 30 miles away is another, and they go sabotage each other's shows and shit. That's stupid. If you work with each other, you're going to get way much more done.
Especially when a deer picks a fight with Godzilla.
I honestly, I got to be honest with you. Me and the Pharaoh, we just think about our show. We don't really talk about anybody else's show.
Don't get involved.
We respect everybody else's show, and I will tell you this, Marty. First of all, I want to say thank you for. I called you in very short notice, and you came on like the gentleman you are. We love you. I'm more than happy that you and Dan have made up. I'm sure the fans are looking forward to more Marty parties in the future.
And I'm going to give them a lot better than what I have, because I had an off date, and whatever the reasons were, somebody once told me, I think it was my cat Swaggy, that a good excuse accomplishes nothing. So, I might have it, and I'd call it a reason. There was a reason Sunday happened. And this pain is the dejection that I may never get to do what I wanted to do, that these ankles may never heal 100%. That's emotional shit that probably won't go away for a while, but it will. It eventually will.
Marty,
but just between my brother, which is everything to me, and wanting to do good that whole weekend, and then that thing happening with the kid that night, and I don't know. It's just it overwhelmed me, and that's the end result was what we saw Saturday or Sunday night.
Bro,
and for those people that were watching the live, I apologize that I was ugly to Dan like that. But now y'all know where my head was. I was thinking I was getting railroaded on pay, and it made me think about those other things that were petty, but still once you get in that frame of mind, it's like, oh no man, you left me out there 2 hours at Boston Airport. Oh no man, you ran me in the ground yesterday when you knew I was hurt. Oh no man, you just don't want to pay me my other half. All that shit festered out. That's all it was, because none of it true. Well, the first two things were true, but Dan wasn't trying to do that. It's just things happen. Shit happens. Like y'all said, shit happens on the road.
Listen, you said it. It's a bad day in the office. All is forgiven. I'm glad you guys made up. We look forward to seeing you on the Marty party. And I got to tell you, Marty, you sound great tonight. I'm so glad the way you sound, and I want to thank you again.
Be good. That was something I was telling Dan. He's like, I'm going to set you up to help you out. I want you to get rehab. Rehab ain't going to do shit for me. Look, man, rehabs I've been to. I've been to high up ministers. Preachers. I've gone to friends. I've confided in friends that had the same issues. But I won't say Jake Roberts or Scott Hall's name, but I've gone to guys that had a problem like mine.
Yeah, well.
Hey, Marty.
And nothing is going to work until I can do it for myself. Rehabs are damn work, first of all. They might work for 9-to-5 type of personalities. A 9-to-5er, not putting them down, but does not live the lifestyle and have the personality of a wrestler.
Not even close. Not even close. Yeah, I totally get it.
So the rehabs, all that is a PR stunt. Like, hey, he's trying. Hey, shit.
Marty, if I can get this in real fast, just coming from my point of view, dude, we would never put a hit piece out on you. And besides, as far as this relationship between us and you goes, the only one who's ever done any hitting is you.
No, that's true.
So there you go.
Okay.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
You got me on that one. Come over. Well, come over and watch and get in the chat room. Cut up with us. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see what it's you. Well, y'all know where it's Boston Wrestling on YouTube. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see that damn chat room tonight. I want to see if they'll understand better or if they're just going to tear my ass up now. Well, I appreciate that, my brothers. All right, let's stay in touch. All right, bro. See y'all. Bye.
You need a body shop? You need engine repair? Auto Excellence, Collision Specialists, 631-261-6420. That's 631-261-6420. Auto Excellence. All right.
Okay.
When you bring us on.
Was any of that
Jimmy,
conversation
I just got the
picked up
best
after we
hookup
got
on
back from
tickets.
Illinois? Fill me in.
I went to www.seatslinks.com and ordered the best tickets with the best prices.
Call 718-676-0504. SeatsLink, the complete ticket experience.
Tell them Charles sent you. Nice to meet you.
The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word.
Well, you won't see another
California
Zoom.
wine,
Never again.
New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monty and Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV. We had to hit a commercial break. I am sorry for the muted. We are back. You should all hear. So, back again. So, everything seemed to be pretty benign, right? Dan and Marty seem to have gotten along. Thoughts on that whole thing?
Well, I think Marty drew a pretty good picture of the whole situation. And as I was saying, I can relate to the pain deal. I understand what that's like. I mean, the fact that he was counting his pain pills and making sure he got through the weekend, that's a terrible feeling.
Sure.
Being pushed the way he was probably didn't help anything either. You know, at the end of the day, it sounds like some shit went down, but like you said, it's another Marty, whatever happened on Sunday. He himself said he can't even remember.
Right.
I'm like, hey, my God, you know, but hey, they've moved on.
Matty, you're saying the audio's low? It's good. Okay, thank you. Thank you, CJ.
What'd you think?
I wasn't sure what the outcome
Where
was
did you
going
get
to
the
be.
hit piece thing from? What's that?
Because
was that Dan trying to say we?
I will say I have a problem with this.
Yeah, what is that?
I wrote Dan and say, hey, man, I went to go check the video. A lot of fans had reached out to me.
Right.
They said something went down. Marty mentioned us and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And Dan wrote me and said, I would never share that piece with anybody. Then he went on to his channel and said that I asked for the piece. And he must have told Marty I was going to show a hit piece on it.
What?
And again, I didn't. I said I wanted it for the show because I wanted to see it so we could discuss it like we did last week.
Right.
Right.
Logical.
Again, if he misunderstood, he misunderstood.
Right. Whatever.
Again.
Into the whatever file.
Again, we're not about other shows. We're about what we're trying to do here.
I'm all about that philosophy.
I don't need to name names, but someone was saying that Boston Wrestling's got more YouTube views on us or whatever.
Oh,
whatever.
You bore me.
No, but that's
you.
all.
You don't bore me.
It's okay. Look,
Yeah.
dude, if you like a certain show, don't like another show, whatever.
Mazel tov.
We're trying to do the best we can, right? And do the best show we can.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's it. Some
do it
find us
different from
entertaining,
others.
some don't find us entertaining. Whatever, right?
9.5 out of 10.
I will tell you this.
I'm okay with that.
I respect Marty Jannetty. Always have. We've had our problems with him.
Gee, you think?
Okay.
Just a little? Maybe?
I don't agree, and I'll say this. I know there's a lot of Boston wrestling fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
This is the second time Dan has gone to social media,
Right. Right.
with he's got problems, but ripping them apart,
Right.
But he's got ankle problems, or
Right.
Tony's broke. Listen, if you know secrets or you know certain things, and I don't know this to be a fact, I'm just hypothetically saying this,
Okay.
that Tony Atlas needs money. Why would you go to social media and embarrass Tony Atlas?
It's,
Someone that's given us what he's given us.
again, it's the most baffling thing about that approach that he seems to have taken. I mean, he's worked with them over and over again.
And made lots of money.
But we worked with Marty one time and we're like, what the fuck? That was a normal, natural thing.
Yes.
Could you picture us, and this is what I mean by this, could you picture us leaving Marty in an airport at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning? We wouldn't, I can't see us doing that.
Again, what they do on their end is they do on their end. My whole point is this.
I still think it's
Don't
though.
go
I don't know,
to
whatever.
social media
Right.
and rip someone apart.
Right.
And I would say it to the
Doing
man's
business
face.
with
I
them
would
for a
say it
long
to the
period.
man's face. You don't do it.
Doing business with him for a long period of time.
When I had a problem with Marty, did I go to
That's-
social media on it?
No.
What did I do?
Refresh me on the exact course of action.
When he came to the first show, a signing.
Right.
We were new to the industry.
Right.
We had a signing.
Right.
And Marty partied
Oh, God.
a little hard when I
Sure.
had children there.
Right. Correct.
What? I wasn't happy, was I?
No one was happy.
How did
Wasn't
I
just you and me.
How did I approach Marty before the second show? Everybody saw the second show when he punched me in the face. Okay? What happened before? Did I not have a conversation with him before? And I told him straight up how I felt. I didn't go to social media.
I remember the tension in,
Right?
in the room.
In the second show,
Yeah.
he wanted to speak about it. I tried to avoid speaking about it because you wanted a good show.
I wanted to get through it without
And
it.
Marty
Right.
wanted to talk about what I was saying to him.
Right.
And then it
Right.
went to where it went.
Yeah, it sure did. Sure did.
Since
Yep.
then, Marty have cleared the air like men, and
Right.
that's it.
Right.
Anyway, I
Over
want to
since.
thank. Chris Davis says, as far as Dan goes, I don't know which is greater offense: his exploitation of Marty or his god awful opening montage of high school level editing for those embarrassed hard cuts.
Boy, did he hit a home run with that montage comment. Am I allowed to say stuff like that? That is the
guess,
worst arts and crafts. You fail. That's horrible. I
Wow.
couldn't pass in third grade with that intro.
go-
I don't even know what I'm watching. I get so confused.
Oh man,
It's horrible.
I'm trying to take the high road
No,
here.
I'm not. I'm not trying to take the high road, okay? Say whichever you want. Yeah, I'm so used to it, the things that have been said about my mother. Anyway, it's ridiculous to me. I'm sorry. How can you work him like that and not notice? You've worked with him a while. How do you not notice he's heading towards what he was heading towards? He was in terrible pain. He said it was building up over a couple of days. You don't realize I might be pushing the guy I worked with a little too hard.
Modern Day Warrior says, and we love you, Modern Day. The punch in the face was a work, looked like a work.
Boy,
Want to
oh
answer
boy.
that question?
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you what. Let's polygraph me. All right? Because I'm the guy to really ask about all of this. Let's polygraph me and watch the line not move at all. That was one of the most intense, ridiculous moments of my life. I didn't want it. I didn't see it coming. Although I did ask for it at that point because I
did?
had had enough with the tension in the fucking room. I had had enough. Sorry, not a work.
JJ
Lost my
says
mind.
out there, Marty is Dan's money
Oh,
bag
yeah.
of comedy and pisses me off. When Marty's in bad shape, get him help, not show him off.
By the way, I still love Modern Day Warrior because I know he's
He's a good. Listen,
he's always got cool.
first of all, I
comments.
want to say
But
respect.
I'm just saying though, it was as real as it gets.
Respect
Coming
to
from the Pharaoh's,
everybody that comments on
pyramid
our
chair,
show, good or bad.
Yeah.
We have nothing but respect for you.
Right.
That is your right as a viewer.
Absolutely.
And we love the fact that you guys
Absolutely.
give us your time, your precious time to watch us. So guess what? If you don't like us on certain points, it's all
Mm-hmm.
good, bro. We're okay with it. I love it. I like to say certain things so people can hear our thoughts, and whether you like it or not. And
I'm
I hear
still-
your thoughts too.
I'm still hearing when he hit your face because I was standing a foot away. By the way, was standing right in front of them.
Which was a scary moment.
That was insane.
Because no one saw after when you were wrestling with him on the phone and on the floor, and I had to go jump up and try to stop that
Let's not even
too.
get into all of that afterwards because that was just complete insanity. I really lost my mind.
Anyway,
badly.
we want to announce some upcoming shows, and we got to get out of here. I just want to make a statement, right?
Sure.
Is that these are legends that we all love to watch, good, bad, or indifferent. Right? Julian Arness says out there, all shoot interviews take advantage of old drug-addicted wrestlers to some degree. Sir, I'm going to say this to you. I would never take advantage of a legend that I watched. Even a regular human being, I wouldn't do that. We may ask hard questions. We may ask uncomfortable questions, but we don't look to hurt anybody, right? We don't look to take advantage of anybody.
Right.
I'll tell you what.
Like certain people who write in to make comments.
Well,
my memory is very long. I know who that was.
Well,
go on next.
I'll make another comment.
Yeah.
We don't put our stuff on Patreon. We give every one of these interviews, 100% of the interview, free to everybody on YouTube. Okay? Because YouTube is not a source of money for us. We have sponsors right behind us that pay for this wonderful show.
There you go.
So we won't take advantage of these legends that we grew up on. And again, you know, Del Wilkes was on the show and said about his substance abuse problems. I think that if anyone's promoting a show and they had Del Wilkes on and that poor man just passed away of a heart attack, shame on you if that's what you're trying to do for some YouTube money. That's an embarrassment.
Amen. Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
With that, can announce some shows.
What do we got?
Matty, I don't have it in front of me, man, so I'm just going to go off the hip. When is the tribute to New Jack with Super Crazy and Mustafa?
August 6th.
August 6th, what, 8 to 10?
I love that lineup.
August 6th, 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Tribute to New Jack, a legend. And then we have, help me out.
July 31st, MTV, Marissa Jade.
Marissa Jade, MTV, and
my palms are sweating. My palms are sweating.
August 12th, Missy Hyatt.
And August 12th,
My
Missy
palms are
Hyatt.
still sweating. What the hell?
We want to welcome back super producer Matt. Glad to have you back, brother.
Matty Ice, as usual. He's got the mic. He found it.
How are you, bro?
I'm doing amazing.
We missed you. I knew it was tough, guys. If you don't know, we use something called vMix here. We had to use Zoom because Marty had to go off his phone and it wasn't working well.
Matt, how do you describe Zoom in 4 letters?
Pain.
There we go. Nice.
So we had to set up separate monitors or whatever, but I think the interview came off great.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I will tell you personally,
Yeah.
I am so excited for August 12th, Missy Hyatt.
You've got to be.
Dude,
losing.
I am off my gourd.
You
I
gotta
think
be
I may come in here a suit and tie.
Wow. Interesting. Wait a minute. What am I going to wear? Scooby-Doo PJs? I mean, I don't have a suit and tie. The Pharaoh doesn't have a suit and tie.
We'll have to buy you one.
What? No.
Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us. I hope that Marty answered all the questions. I hope that everybody felt that the interview was respectful towards Marty Jannetty along with Boston Wrestling.
I learned a lot, but I learned that Dan should change his beginning to the show. It's terrible.
If that's the worst we're going to get out of this, I think it's been a
I
successful
thought we
interview.
took it way easy on the poor guy. Your intro sucks. You got to fix it, bro. But other than that,
With that, this has been Mike Monty.
this has been the Pharaoh, and until next time, later.